Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Richard Koto, and I'm the Corporate Fundraising Manager for Break. Thank you all very much for joining us for the webinar this afternoon. We will kick off in around 2 or 3 minutes' time. I can just see there's a few people who have either dialed in and not quite got their microphones and their headsets set up yet. So we're just going to give them another couple of minutes and then we'll kick off. Right. Well, first of all, thank you all very much for joining us for our Road Safety Week webinar 2017. And welcome to the webinar for today. I just wanted to quickly run through a few bits and pieces in terms of our agenda for today's webinar. It should last around half an hour to 45 minutes. And we have a range of different speakers presenting for you this afternoon. Firstly, there's myself. So I'm Richard Koto, and I'm the Corporate Fundraising Manager here at Break. I'll be giving you a really quick introduction to Road Safety Week and also the types of activities that took place in the 2016 Road Safety Week. We've also very kindly been joined by Paul Wilkes, who's the Business Services Manager for FORS. He's going to be talking through a few of the activities that FORS got involved in last year for Road Safety Week. Again, his focus was, or their focus was mainly looking at community engagement and different ways that they could engage within their local communities. I'll then be handing over to Shirley Hoskins, again very kindly joining us from ABFI. She's their Environment, Health and Safety and Fleet Lead in the UK. and she'll be talking through some of the internal activities that she organised on behalf of ABFI and with her colleagues. The final speaker for the day will be my colleague Abby Smith. She's the Corporate Fundraising Officer here at Break, but works very closely with a range of our corporate partners on a number of different initiatives as part of the 2016 Road Safety Week. She'll be specifically talking through some of our activities involving Simpson Miller Solicitors, who are a leading PI firm here in the UK. So she'll be giving a really general overview of their activities in 2016. And then to wrap things up, so the second half of the webinar, I'll be talking through the theme for this year's Road Safety Week, which is Speed Down, Save Lives, talking you through the different sets of resources that we've got available to you, and hopefully giving you some inspiration on ways that you can get involved in 2017 Road Safety Week. Before I kick off though, just a few bits of housekeeping to do. Just as a reminder, so as attendees, you're currently all muted, which means sadly you can't ask questions out loud. If you do have any questions, you should have a box down the right-hand side of your screen which says chat. You can click in that box and ask questions as we go along. So after each speaker, I will be checking the chat box. So if you do have a question, please do enter it into there. I will pick up on it and make sure that our speakers are able to come back to you on your queries as we go along. The final thing to say around housekeeping is that we are indeed recording this webinar. So if there's any bits that you miss, or if you've got any colleagues that you think that might be interested in hearing about some of the things that we talk about today, we will be sending you a link to our YouTube channel where this webinar will be uploaded and, as I say, available for yourself and your colleagues as well. So just to really quickly run you through who Break are and what we do if you've not come across us before. So we are the National Road Safety Charity for the UK, and we have two main aims. Firstly, to support the victims of road crashes. So we support anyone who's been a victim of a road crash, whether that's a bereavement or a serious injury. We do this through a helpline service, which is a free phone number that bereaved families and families who've had a serious injury can call and receive advice and guidance on a range of different topics, and also providing a listening ear service, essentially giving people the opportunity to talk to someone else around any issues that they may be having, and again, offering that really basic and essential emotional support at what can be obviously an incredibly difficult time for them. We also do a huge amount of work alongside the police, helping them to essentially coordinate best practice when it comes to supporting families who've suffered a bereavement or serious injury. So a huge amount of educational work there involving the emergency services. The second aspect of our work is to prevent road crashes. So we work with a range of different demographics to promote safer driving and help reduce collisions. We cover everyone from children right up to professional drivers. So fleet operators within the UK, we work with them to manage road risk, help reduce the number of collisions and crashes that they have while out on the roads. But we also do a huge amount of work lobbying the government, working with key influential MPs from within the road safety community to essentially help push through legislation and push through different measures that will help create safer societies for everyone to get around and hopefully reduce the number of road crashes. So just a really quick overview of some of the projects that we run. As I mentioned, we work with fleet operators to manage their road risk. We do this through our Break Professional scheme. Break Professional is an online membership service that fleet operators and suppliers sign up to. And on there are a range of guidance reports, driver advice sheets, posters, lots of other resources that fleet operators and suppliers can use to promote road safety within their businesses. Also through Break Professional, we run a range of seminars, webinars, and conferences throughout the year, again aimed at promoting the very best practice from within the fleet industry. As you can see on there, we also have our Fleet Safety Awards, which takes place next week actually for 2017. And again, it's all about promoting best practice within the industry. So we have, I think it's around 13 categories in total, covering lots of different types of road risk, from things like eco-driving to safe vehicles and the measures that can be put in place to create safer vehicles for their drivers. It's taking place, as I say, next week, and it's an annual event, so I definitely recommend, if you are a fleet operator or a supplier, it's worth thinking about potentially entering our Fleet Safety Awards next year. The flip side of that, or another side of that, is our community outreach work. So you can see on the board, we have, or on the screen, you have Brake's Giant Walk, as well as Brake's Road Safety Poster Competition and our Beat Beat Days. So these are all aimed at primary and infant school age children. It's all about talking to children as early as possible about road safety and getting them to think about how they can be safe, and also creating safer communities for them to obviously walk, cycle and play and get to and from school. So those are kind of a few of our projects that we run both within fleets, but also initiatives that are aimed at local communities as well. The final element I just want to quickly highlight is Sudden, which is another initiative that's a part of Brake. Through our work supporting people who've been bereaved and seriously injured in road crashes, there's a lot of best practice advice and guidance that applies to any type of sudden bereavement, which of course are road crashes, but any kind of sudden bereavement. A lot of the work that we do, particularly with road crashes, can be duplicated and used for people who have suffered any kind of sudden death. And the Sudden website, again, provides advice and guidance for members of the public, but also for professionals working in those fields, helping to provide them with really simple and useful information on how they can best support people who have suffered a sudden bereavement. So moving on to Road Safety Week, just to give you an overview of Road Safety Week and what we've been up to. Firstly, I'd like to say actually a thank you to a few of our sponsors of this year's Road Safety Week. We have Aviva, who are sponsoring it for their second year, supporting the organisation. We also have Bright Angle, who are joining us as sponsors, co-sponsors for this year. Bright Angle is part of Road Safety Designs Limited. And then finally, as you'll see on the bottom right corner, Road Safety Week is actually supported by the government as well. So the Think initiative, which is the government's road safety department essentially, are funders and supporters of Road Safety Week, which for us is fantastic because it's obviously hugely important to be seen and to have the backing of a government agency, and it helps to strengthen our messaging, particularly within local communities. So a bit more information about Road Safety Week. It's our biggest road safety event of the year. It's now in its 20th year, and it's growing year on year. We're seeing more and more organisations taking part in Road Safety Week with lots of amazing different activities that they choose to do. In terms of the breakdown of that, there's approximately 10,000 schools, companies, individuals and community groups that take part in Road Safety Week from within the UK. The main aim of Road Safety Week is essentially to inspire people to take action on road safety. So this is really an opportunity for ground level, grassroots road safety promotion within local communities and businesses throughout the UK. And essentially it's promoting life-saving messages during the Road Safety Week. But as I'm sure you'll all agree, road safety is not just something we do for a week. And we hope that a lot of these messages and a lot of the work that we do for Road Safety Week will be carried on beyond the week itself. For professionals and for fleets, potentially it provides a focal point for professionals working in road safety to boost awareness and engagement in their work. So it's a really good opportunity to have 1 week where you tend to focus solely on road safety and really push home some messages, whether that's launching a new policy or whether that's reiterating current policies you have around things like speed. Road Safety Week gives you that opportunity to promote that throughout the week in conjunction with Brake and the resources that we have available to support you. Every year we choose a different theme for the National Road Safety Week. Last year's theme was Brake's pledge, which I'll come on to in a moment. However, what I would say is, so with this year's theme, we're focusing mainly on speed. However, we recognise that might not necessarily be the main focus for you as an organisation. So if there are other themes that you want to explore, so things like drink driving or issues around ensuring employees have seatbelts on, these are all different topics that we can support you with as well. So you don't have to do it about speed if you don't want to, and we have a range of ready-made resources that I'm sure can support you regardless of the issue that you're looking to tackle as part of Road Safety Week. So why take part? Well, as employers, you have a vital role in reducing road casualties. At-work driving makes up a huge proportion of road crashes. So tackling road risk and working to manage road risk is crucial in helping to reduce the number of collisions on our roads. There's obviously a huge amount of benefits to reducing road crashes as well, aside from the obvious side of not injuring or potentially killing people. There's also the reputational improvements that it can make. It can also improve morale and reduce costs as well for you as a business. It also gives you the opportunity to engage staff in key road safety issues and also talk about things like encouraging sustainable travel, whether that's implementing policies around essentially looking at whether meetings need to happen or whether you can do things via teleconferencing. There's also a chance for you to talk through the benefits of either taking public transport or using kind of bikes and walking to and from work as well. So looking at kind of the alternatives to using your car, which in turn hopefully helps to reduce road risk as well for you as a business. And as I say, it's also reducing the risk of staff faced by controlling costs. And also delivering on duty of care as well. There's also a fantastic opportunity to link it to your corporate social responsibility as well. I think most businesses have sustainability policies and want to work around sustainability. So road safety and highlighting road safety and alternatives to driving is a fantastic way to link back into things like environmental policies. But also there's the potential to do fundraising for Brake, helping us to support more people who've been bereaved and seriously injured in road crashes. So through supporting Road Safety Week and through supporting Brake, it should hopefully be feeding into your corporate social responsibility obligations and strategies. It can also give your current activities a boost. So if you've already got lots of road safety related activities taking place, then Road Safety Week, as I say, gives you a fantastic opportunity to reiterate and reinforce that. It's also a really good chance to show to your colleagues internally, if you're a fleet safety manager or a health and safety professional, it's your opportunity to reinforce your commitment to road safety internally and help to show and demonstrate to the people above you and also the people below you that actually road safety is important. And it is something that should be taken seriously, and you've got the added boost as well of it being tied into a national event that literally thousands of other organisations from within the UK are also taking part in as well. So Road Safety Week 2016, the theme for Road Safety Week 2016 was Brake's Pledge. So we asked businesses, communities, all different types of organisations to commit to 6 golden rules of driving, which are slow, sober, secure, sharp, silent and sustainable. And essentially it's about getting people to commit to those rules. So essentially either signing a piece of paper or taking a photo alongside them. So there were lots of different ways that people could make their individual pledges as part of Road Safety Week. Anyone could join in, so individuals, businesses, communities, even non-drivers could take part in the 6-point pledge as well. As I mentioned, last year we had just over 7,800 schools, organisations and community groups registered to take part. The event was a huge success. We managed to have an 82% increase in visitors to the Road Safety Week website compared to the previous year. I'm not massively big on social media myself, but I hear that Twitter is quite a big deal now, and Brake tweets were viewed over 1.2 million times in November, which again was a new record for us, and again shows that we're reaching even more people than ever before. The final bit that I wanted to talk about was the production of the action pack, which grows year on year. So the Road Safety Week action pack is something we provide via email. It's a digital pack, and it contains lots of different resources aimed at helping to brand and coordinate your Road Safety Week, which I will be talking about a little bit later on. But last year's was the biggest action pack yet and contained more than 60 resources for people to use. And finally, just a quick run through of, or you can see on your screens now, you should be able to see some of the different ways that people could make the pledge. You can see the selfie frames, which were hugely popular last year, just in the middle of the screen there. Essentially, people taking selfies and posting them online, posting them on Twitter, which was great for two reasons. One, it got more and more people making the pledge, and was great from a promotional perspective, but also for those companies as well. It was a really simple way for them to involve their staff and their employees within Road Safety Week, and also being able to talk about it online and in social media as well. You might be able to see just on the left-hand side some celebrities that got involved in making the pledge. I use the term celebrity fairly loosely. We've got Jonathan Walters, who's a Stoke City player. We've also got John Prescott, who I believe was the deputy leader of the Labour Party. And then in the middle, I don't know the lady's name, but I have been told she is a member of Bewitched, the band from the 90s, for those of you that may remember. So yeah, I start to say celebrities fairly loosely, although I suppose John Prescott probably is quite a big deal. But yeah, we're aiming to ensure we get hopefully even more celebrities involved in this year's Road Safety Week, which again will help us to reach even more people in 2017. So before I hand over actually to Paul, I just want to quickly run you through a few other case studies from the 2016 Road Safety Week. So firstly, we have EDF Energy, who came on board as corporate partners with Brake towards October time last year. And they held a number of different activities at their large call center sites, helping to do things like checking tires and general kind of checks of the vehicles that the drivers were using. We also had QuickFit, who sponsored thousands of our pledge leaflets. So the pledge leaflets cover all 6 elements of the Brake pledge. QuickFit sponsored a range of those and had them branded, duly branded, Brake and QuickFit, and they distributed them to all 620 of their retail centres across the UK. They also did a huge amount of work highlighting the pledge on their in-centre TV screens, again allowing members of the public and also their staff the opportunity to see some of the Road Safety Week messaging. And also they did a huge amount of work on social media as well, using lots of our infographics and some of their own infographics and pictures to highlight their support for the campaign. The final one I want to talk you through is Recaro, who are a child safety seat company. They carried out a daily Q&A session on Facebook, focusing on a different child safety seat theme, which related to the secure element of the Brake pledge. So rather than covering all 6 elements of the pledge, they chose to solely pick out the secure element and focused on that because it was most relevant to them as a business. The daily sessions gave followers the opportunity to ask as many questions on the subjects as they wanted. And what we found, and through a jointly run campaign, was that Recaro's posts reached more than 15,000 Facebook users, which is fantastic and is another example of utilizing social media to reach even more people than ever before. And so I think at this point, I'm going to hand you over to Paul Wilkes, who, as I said earlier, is presenting on behalf of FORS. I've just unmuted you, Paul. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Lovely. I'm just going to hand over the controls to you now, if that's okay.
No, that's fine.
Should be with you in a moment.
Excellent.
There we go. We can see you. We can see your slides now, Paul.
Fantastic. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Richard. As Richard said, my name is Paul Wilkes, and I'm the FORS Business Services Manager. For those of you that aren't aware of FORS, we're a voluntary accreditation scheme for commercial vehicles. we've been working closely with Brake for a while now. We have very similar goals around managing road risk and reducing the number of accidents and incidents on the roads. What I want to talk to you today about is about the Exchanging Places event that we ran. The reason we wanted to do an Exchanging Places event was because usually we're focused very much on the commercial vehicle drivers and ensuring that they are aware of their obligations and better ways of driving to ensure the safety of vulnerable road users. You can see from the picture here, we run a number of courses around taking drivers out of their vehicles, putting them on bikes and sending them around the city to scare the life out of them, taking a very different perspective. So they become the vulnerable road user. So for us, it was a great opportunity for us to, instead of looking at it from a driver perspective, was to get some of the vulnerable road users into a vehicle and for them to see not only the limitations of the vehicles and the potential restraints on vision, but also what it is that we are getting our members to do in order to better improve their safety. So of all the various options that we looked at for doing, we decided that the Exchanging Places event was probably best, and we decided that we would hold a competition amongst the team to decide which school we wanted to use, and we all submitted a fairly wide range of interesting schools, and we were trying to work out what the best way to decide on the best school was, and we were kind of looking at who we knew at the schools, what contacts we have, the actual logistics of the school, because we had to get an HGV onto the site, and for some of the schools that was going to be very challenging indeed. And then once we'd been through all of the various schools that have been put forward, we pulled together our winner, and we decided on St Bede's School in Red Hill. And there were two main reasons for this. One of them was because one of our team had previously worked there, who had already got some very strong links with the school and knew that they were very keen on improving safety and raising awareness amongst their pupils. But also they had a really good access road outside of the school that was away from the main road, that would allow us to demonstrate the vehicle in a safe and controlled environment. So we partnered up with O'Donovan Waste Disposal, who's one of our Force members, a gold member in fact, and they very generously provided both a tipper vehicle and two of their members, a driver and an instructor, to talk the pupils through how the vehicle worked and some of the safety features that were there. If you can see from the picture, there was we put a red mat area around the outside of the vehicle, which helped the children to understand exactly where they needed to stand to see where the cameras could see them and when they were appearing in blind spots. And we got lots of the children up to sit in the driver's seat. All the children sat in the driver's seat, and we'd get their friends and their teachers to stand at various points in front of the vehicle and down the side of the vehicle, so the children could see exactly when people disappeared from view and when they switched onto the cameras. And then we were showing them, the best place if you're crossing the road, how to do that and make sure that they've attracted the driver's attention, which worked very well. So the feedback we had from the day was fantastic. We got about 40 children through in the end. The picture looks like it was a nice sunny day, but I can tell you it was bitterly cold. So everybody was very keen to get into the cab, including many of the teachers. And it worked as a really good day, and we were able to show all of the equipment really well, the cameras, the mirrors, and it was very, very helpful having a very knowledgeable driver there to to give the children some extra information. So all in, it was a really good event for us, and we're really looking forward to participating again this year. What I would say is, if you're doing one of these events, then make sure you take lots of photographs, because I didn't take as many as my marketing team would have liked. So that's it from me. Back to you then, Richard.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate that. That was a great overview. Just a really quick question, actually, before I let you go. How receptive did you find the schools? Did you find it fairly easy to get to actually get into the schools and kind of, knowing who to contact and that side of things, and figuring out?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why we decided that we wanted or one of the reasons why we ended up using the school where we'd had someone who'd worked there previously. So we did have the right contacts quite early on, but the school was very, very receptive anyway. So they really did make a massive effort to accommodate us and to make as many children as they could available to participate, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. No, fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like it was amazing, actually, and yeah, that's lovely. Well, thank you very much again, Paul. Really appreciate that. It was very useful. Thank you. I'm now going to hand you over to Shirley Hoskins, who I think I have a slide for, potentially. Yes. Shirley, I've just unmuted you, Shirley. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can.
Lovely.
Can you see my slides?
I can't at the moment, unfortunately. Just hold on a second. I'm just having a slight technical hitch here. Lovely. I think we can now see your screen, Shirley. So yeah, please do feel free to carry on.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks. My name's Shirley. Hello. Here today to talk to you about what we did last year for Road Safety Week. So a bit about AbbVie. So AbbVie is a global biopharmaceutical company combining advanced science, expertise and passion to solve serious health issues and have a remarkable impact on people's lives. Our business in the UK has approximately 600 employees, and nearly 1/3 of those is field-based roles, which for a pharmaceutical company in the UK is our highest risk area. So we operate a fleet of around 205 cars, of which 90% are business need drivers, 10% they class as perk drivers. We have a proactive EHS campaign, which is we refer to that as zero, believe it, achieve it. Everything we do within the campaign is a proactive approach, which is really important to us. So AbbVie is dedicated to providing a safe working environment and entrusting its employees to engage in safe practices. So it's important for our EHS programs to be part of the ways we work, not a separate rule, which can be sometimes held as a rule or regulation within our health and safety world. So ensuring that EHS is always part of the conversation. So it's our transparent, inclusive culture that leads to our sustainable growth. So our objectives within our road safety campaign. So at AbbVie, we already have a solid road risk safety program in place for those that drive on company business, and that includes pre-license checks, risk assessments, online driver training, practical driver training. The objective of the Road Safety Roadshow for us was an additional part of our campaign to raise awareness, reaching out to all employees with the campaign message ensuring we get home safely at the end of the day to our family and friends. So it was more of a kind of a holistic approach, if you like. So how did we plan it? So we planned in 2 road safety exhibitions, which we class as our Road Safety Roadshow, stopping at 2 different places, One aimed at our infill colleagues, which was actually outside of Road Safety Week. It's just before Road Safety Week, but we gave the whole exhibition the same focus. And one aimed at our office staff, and that was to be held during Road Safety Week. So we partnered with Brake. We are sponsors of proud sponsors of Brake anyway. So partnership with Brake for road safety messaging and professional resources aligning to the Brake pledge. For us, it was important to give focus around all the pledge elements that Richard spoke to you earlier about. Partner with our local network for the office roadshow. We wanted to adopt a whole person approach to road safety. So we wanted to cover all of the elements of the Brake pledge, also covering work-related areas for secure, such as tyre and windscreen checks. We also wanted a more personal attribute. So we had our local council in place, partnering with us, doing child seat safety checks for cars, eye checks, and bicycle servicing. And we also held a Brake pledge lunchtime seminar sessions as well. So working in collaboration with our internal communications, this was key for us from a business perspective, ensuring we had pre-event promotion by inviting colleagues. As you imagine, it's in an office environment. People have very many priorities, and we needed to raise awareness of what was going on. We had a day exhibition happening, so we wanted to make sure we could get as many employees engaged as possible. Our fleet communication plans is always integrated in our overall employee engagement program, which supports our overall goal to drive great behaviours. So partnering with Brake in our promotion, this is some of I've shown you on the screen, some of the pre-communications we had in the office. So we joined Brake as part of their Brake professional that Richard spoke to you earlier about. Brake have a fantastic pool of resources to pull from very, really valuable data and evidence, which we use to in our office promotion, around the office, on the office screens, on the back of toilet doors, just so that we made sure we could capture everybody beforehand, so everybody knew what was going on. So building partnerships. Our partners with providing help and support for us during the roadshow were Brake, our fleet supplier, which is our Arval, our fleet supplier, who also work in partnership with Brake as well. Our local council and council transport divisions, Specsavers, ATS and Autoglass, and our facilities team, who are really keen to be involved to talk about car park protocols, for example, for those that work in the office. So we were mindful to be really focused on the Brake pledge and all of the elements. This is some of our internal communications, and again, this is all information we've gathered from the Brake website and the Brake portal. The Brake portal. They have some great tools to be downloaded and used, and it's all evidence-based as well, which is great for us. So again, this was spread around the office in the week and the build up towards Road Safety Week, and actually during Road Safety Week we still had a continuous message coming out on the screens every day of Road Safety Week as well. So the roadshow during Road Safety Awareness Week, which is 21st and the 24th of November, the EHS team hosted Road Safety Roadshow at the AbbVie offices. We had Arval, our fleet supplier, who were also representing Brake, the road safety charity. We had Brake run a lunchtime pledge seminar for further insight. We're really lucky to have the wonderful Tracy Fuller as part of our Arval fleet supplier team. Now, Tracy works in conjunction and provides the pledge workshops for Brake. So we were really lucky to have Tracy on board with us during our exhibition in the office, and she ran some great pledge lunchtime sessions that were really fun, really engaging for employees as well. We had Specsavers on site, which is again aligning to the Brake pledge elements as well. We had our local council, shows you whereabouts our offices are, obviously, talking about sustainable transport, talking about train, bus services to the office, alternative types of travel. we were really lucky to have somebody as part of the council that provided child car seat checks. So people were able to sign up to have that done on the day in the car park. So part of the exhibition was in the morning, but they stayed on during the day to provide those safety checks for employees as well. Our facilities team, they were talking about car park protocols, reminding people of our speed limits around the car park, and also giving out winter kits. So we wanted to ensure that all employees had a winter kit, the ice windscreen scraper, that type of thing. We had ACS on board in the exhibition, talking about tyre checks, giving away some discount vouchers to employees, which went down really well. We also had them on site doing tyre checks, and we had Autoglass on site doing tyre checks as well, and they left some great notes on windscreens. We're giving them information on if they need anything doing, if there was anything urgent, for example. We're really lucky in our local community to have a great charity called Cycle Hub, and they offer a doctor bike session, and it's basically a bicycle service station. So we had them set up in the car park. Also, we had an exhibition stand talking about what they were doing, where they were, inviting people to go along on the day and after the day as well. So reaching those in the field during Road Safety Week. So we had the Road Safety exhibition to those in the field beforehand, but we didn't forget them during Road Safety Week. So working with our fleet supplier, we sent out every day an email with regards to different elements of the brake pledge, just reminding them. And again, it had a link to for them to pledge themselves directly into brake as well. So outcomes, measurement and engagement for those taking part. So we managed to measure that we had 267 people pledge to drive safer, and we did that by asking them to sign a pledge board, and you can see a photo there of the one in the office with all the signatures, people pledging against a different element to drive safer. Employees that received winter driving kits, 600, which is we ensured that all employees received a winter driving kit. Tyre checks, we found 15 were found unsafe, and messages got to those persons and rectified so they were safe back on the road. And again, the same with windscreens. Specsavers were giving out some £20 vouchers, and 90 of those were given out. We don't know if they were actually used, but we know they were given out. Bicycles. Now, the day on Road Safety Week, it was a really poor weather day. It was really wet and windy, but we didn't think anybody would turn up on a bicycle. But we have 4 people pedal into the office who are so determined to have their bike service. So we have 4 people with bike services. We actually use them for a different day where we're promoting sustainability as well. And on a fair weather day, we have 14 people. So, but yeah, we were really surprised to see anybody because it was that bad a day. So, how can we ensure our road safety message is sustainable? That's really important for us. For anything we do, we need to ensure that it's sustainable. Here's some of the feedback we got. I won't read it out to you, but we had some great feedback of what we were doing. But the one that stands out for me is somebody noted that I won't use my phone on hands-free whilst driving. And that, to me, made it worthwhile. So ensuring this safety is part of our ways of working. Safety messages are already integrated in our leadership responsibilities, so which is obviously ongoing, which is again sustainable for us. So what's next for this year? We already have plans in place. We are planning on road safety engagement, again through road safety road shows. To build on last year's success, we're building on measurement. We want to know the numbers of engagement, and for us that's important. So the communication focus this year will be aligning with Brake and following their lead. We're focusing on speed down, save lives. We're going one step further with the Brake pledge. So last year we asked people to pledge to drive safer. This year we want them to think about the elements of the Brake pledge, and we want them to tell us which areas they want us to focus on or review for next year, which will add to our 2018 plans. Working with our partners, we want them to provide us with numbers. So we know a lot was talked about and discussed last year, but we don't have evidence of that. We want to know we want feedback, which we're hoping to get this year. So this year we're using the break pledge selfie boards. We didn't use those last year, but they seem like great fun. So we want to use those this year, and we also want to give out winter kits, and we want to ensure that all employees get those and not just those that drive on company business. So our September exhibition, the audience will again be field employees. For Road Safety Week, the audience will be those in the office or anyone visiting the office. But we're also planning on expanding our partnerships. As an EHS committee, we're planning on making further contact, because we found that the partners that we contact last year were really keen to be involved, which was great for us. So we want to try and expand on that a bit more this year. We also want to have an opportunity for a collection to raise funds for Break. We didn't do that last year, so we really want to put some focus on that area. So measurement, engagement and feedback will help shape our proposals for 2018. Thank you. Richard, any questions on chat?
Lovely. No, thank you so much for that, Shirley. That was excellent. Thank you. You can really see a kind of clear strategic approach that you've taken to Road Safety Week, and some really exciting plans for 2017 as well. I just have one quick question for you, actually, which was how easy did you find it to get buy-in from kind of your managers and kind of the managers in other teams within the organisation? Was it fairly straightforward getting the kind of buy-in from people within the organisation to embrace Road Safety Week and embrace the kind of general activities?
It is. I mean, as a pharmaceutical business, and managers and leadership have full responsibilities in our EHS campaigns and programs. So any way of adding EHS and road safety as part of conversations in the sales conference, to have a voice at those areas and elements is really important to all of the teams.
Of course, yeah. No, that makes complete sense. Thank you very much again for your presentation. It was really insightful. Thank you. So I'm just going to try and take the controls back to myself. And now I will pass you over to my colleague Abby Smith, who's going to talk through some of the activities that she was involved in alongside Simpson Miller. I'll just move it on one. Abby?
Hi, thank you, Richard. Hello, everyone. Yes, as mentioned, I also work within Break, but also help a number of companies coordinate their activities during Road Safety Week. So in this case, I'll be talking about Simpson Miller Solicitors, LLP. I've just got the one slide for you today, but hopefully I can talk through their activities effectively and take a look at the pictures as well to go alongside what I'm talking about. So Simpson Miller, obviously a solicitor firm who are based all over the UK, and their activities over Road Safety Week 2016 are a really great example of how an organisation, especially from the legal sector, can get involved. Obviously, solicitors themselves have a lot of contact with those directly affected from road-related incidents, whether it's the victims or law enforcement, dealing with claims in the court proceedings. So solicitors actually benefit from working closely with their community, not only just to raise the profile of their business, but also to show that they're socially responsible and that they'll give their clients the care and attention that they need, and as an organisation they are active members promoting a really positive cause. During the week, Simpson Miller joined Break as corporate partners, and they focus their activities around their Manchester office. So you don't have to do things across the UK, you can keep it locally within an office. And it doesn't have to extend too far and wide. If it's not accessible to you, you can keep it local. But in this case, Simpson Miller actually orchestrated activities within two local schools to them, Irk Valley School in Manchester and St Hilda's School in Stretford, to help raise awareness among the children locally to them. They provided the children with reflective snap bands and other break resources, such as our Break Pledge leaflets and balloons, and activity sheets. And they also delivered presentations during school assemblies on elements of the Break Pledge. I think one of the ones they chose to focus on is speed. Obviously, you can see how that's really relevant to school areas due to roads being right next to schools and children walking around those areas and essentially being quite at risk. They also got a member of the road policing unit to get involved in the presentations, and he also arrived and attended in a fully liveried traffic police car, and he added to the talks by discussing how the kids can essentially stay safe on the roads. So this is a really great example of how these activities involved working with different groups across different industry sectors to deliver really successful raising awareness activities. It shows how many organisations there are potentially around you who are also planning to take part in Road Safety Week and who you could potentially collaborate with, and something something that Break can actually help you with as well. If you wanted to know if there was any schools near you taking part, we do have a list of those who have registered, so feel free to try and contact us to see if there's anyone around you who would like to collaborate with. So in addition to these school presentations, Simpson Miller also proactively fundraised for Break in the run-up to Road Safety Week and during. They attended another school in the area, St Bede's Preparatory School in Manchester. They attended an event there, helping the school to fundraise for the charity, specifically allocating that funding to our Break helpline. And they also donated a raffle prize, being a bike, including the helmet for them as well. So really generous contribution there. And then a group of them also abseiled down the Manchester into Trafford Centre Tower. You can see pictures there of the fundraising group, the abseil group, and then scaling the tower there. So obviously really, really great to have any corporate involvement in our fundraising challenge events. As a corporate team, really help to present a solid front for the charity in a really proactive way to kind of engage with the charity as well and show your support as a corporate organisation. But it's not just about taking the challenges. You can do some really simple stuff as well. Any level of involvement is welcome. So you can easily take part within your office in itself. So Simpson Miller's offices actively supported us during Road Safety Week. They bought 3 Road Safety Week banners as well, which had their logo on. They hung these outside their offices and also the 2 schools that they spoke at. They donated those banners to the schools. So this would have been seen by all the passers-by, drivers and others, and visibly promoting that they were taking part and supporting the charity. And staff also got engaged by using our selfie boards, taking the Break Pledge. You can see their pictures that they used and how they got involved on social media and online, and basically joined that conversation and used the hashtags and responded to people and joined that conversation that everyone was doing throughout the week. And I think that sums it up. Pretty much every part of the activities that Simpson Miller coordinated. So I'll pass it back to you now, Richard.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Abby. That was a really good overview of the activities with Simpson Miller from last year. So as promised, I now want to walk you through and talk you through this year's theme for Road Safety Week. So as I mentioned, we've chosen speed as being the topic we'd like to cover and what we'll be talking about as part of Road Safety Week 2017. The tagline is Speed Down, Save Lives. We've also got the hashtag Speed Down. So in terms of why we've selected that, well, we know that UK speeding is still a major problem. It still causes lots of needless crashes and obviously suffering and pain, if you like, for families throughout the UK. Well, what we all know is that driving is unpredictable, and if something unexpected happens, such as a child stepping out from in between parked cars, it is a driver's speed that will determine whether they can stop in time, and if they can't stop, sadly, how hard they would potentially hit that child. So speed playing a really key role in kind of the majority of road crashes. We all know that we're living busier lives and there is a temptation to speed up in the hope of saving time. However, we know that in fact by doing so you could be costing lives. So that's why we're encouraging everyone to speed down and save lives for Road Safety Week in 2017. So what can you do? And I'd say these are probably the initial steps and things that you should probably think about as part of Road Safety Week 2017. Firstly, if you haven't done already, then register for one of our free Road Safety Week action packs. As I mentioned earlier, they are a free resource that we provide via email, and it includes lots of posters, guidance reports, guidance sheets, driver advice sheets, and just lots of different suggestions on activities on how you can take part in Road Safety Week. You can do that via the Road Safety Week website /action pack. So yes, definitely that would be a good first step for getting involved in this year's event. There's lots of low cost and in some cases free resources that are available to help promote and brand your activities for Road Safety Week. There's opportunities for partnerships within local communities. So we work with lots of different schools, colleges, universities, councils, emergency services. So if you're having issues and you want to work with one of those different groups, please do get in touch with Brake, as we'll be able to help make those connections between you as a business and them as a supporting organisation. There's also lots we can do to help promote your work as well. So for every organisation that takes part in Road Safety Week, we will be providing a free template press release which you can use to talk about your activities and help promote what you're doing to the local media. And then finally, what we hope is that we'll be able to collect some feedback from you following the event. And again, another really good opportunity for you to gain some coverage for your work as part of Road Safety Week on our website. So what's in the action pack? Lots of information on how to raise awareness among staff and customers. There's information on how to engage in your local community. So again, feeding into that grassroots road safety messaging. Critically and crucially for us, we're quite a small charity, so any work you can do to help fundraise for Brake and help fund our work is greatly received. There's also information on the different types of partners that you can link up with within your local communities. There's information on how to order resources and the types of resources we have available, and also ways that you can gain some valuable media coverage and publicity for your activities as part of Road Safety Week. So in terms of raising awareness among staff and customers, there's a variety of different avenues you can go down. You may have company newsletters or magazines, intranet sites, or different website features. We can provide you with content and help you to draft content for any of those different opportunities. We can help to provide you with resources that you can circulate through social media, on your website, via email, or even inviting staff or customers to use them. So you can use them in your foyer, canteen or stores, helping to promote road safety messaging to your customers. You can potentially use lots of the resources to run awareness campaigns, print and display free posters. There's also the opportunity to run safe driving presentations for employees. So we actually run something called Brake's Pledge Training, where essentially we can come out to you as a business and talk you through the different 6 elements of the pledge, which you can then utilise to promote road safety and promote those 6 pledges amongst your staff and employees. And then obviously, we hope that that's not just for a week and gives you the opportunity to start thinking about launching a year-round road safety program. So potentially focusing on different topics depending on the month of the year. For example, you could look to use winter driving and the preparations needed for winter driving. You could look to promote that throughout November, December, January, February time, picking 1 or 2 of those months to kind of really talk about the potential dangers and how drivers and individuals can manage their road risk when it comes to driving in potentially hazardous conditions. As Paul touched on slightly earlier during his presentation, there's some really, really good opportunities to engage with your local communities. For example, we have a project called Break's Beep Beep Days, which are free road safety days for children between the ages of 2 and 7. And we have a range of different resources which include posters, stickers, colouring in sheets, activity sheets that schools and nurseries and community groups can use to teach road safety to young children. As corporate organisations, you have the opportunity to potentially purchase some of our Beep Beep packs, which include all of those resources. And we can also help potentially link you up with schools, nurseries, community groups that might be interested in having potentially some of your employees or some of your staff go in and give road safety presentations and indeed help out with some of the Road Safety Week Beep Beep days. What we'd also advise is trying to find ways to fundraise for Break. As you can see on the board, one of the most obvious initiatives and one of the easiest initiatives we have is our Bright Days for Break, which are essentially dress-down days with a difference. We ask everyone to turn up wearing the brightest clothes, and in return they donate £1 to Break. It essentially helps to remind drivers of the need to slow down and watch out for pedestrians and cyclists, raising awareness of the number of people killed and injured on foot and bike every year. And obviously as the clocks change in October, it's much darker in the mornings and the evenings when people are commuting, so it's kind of an opportune time for you to really start talking to drivers around the dangers of those kind of darker mornings and evenings potentially. As part of Road Safety Week, again, as I say, lots of new resources that we've developed this year and opportunities for branding and helping to structure your Road Safety Week. Firstly, we have the free giant selfie hands, which you can see modelled on the left-hand side. These are a really simple idea, essentially taking selfies or taking photos, holding the hand, displaying your message of wanting to kind of speed down and encourage people to slow down when they're driving. These are free resources, but they can also be branded with your company logo, which costs £16. You can find the free hands as well as the ones that you can have branded on Break's website, which is essentially shop.break.org.uk. And on the right-hand side, you can see lots of other posters, banners, leaflets, handouts that you can, so many of which are free, some of which there is a kind of a small charge to. And again, all of these resources can be found on the Road Safety Week shop as well as the Break shop. It's probably worth mentioning the leaflet in the top right corner, which is Let's Go 20, and is all about slowing down to 20 miles per hour in local communities. We're actually producing a new version of this leaflet alongside QuickFit, who very kindly funded it. So there will be some additional leaflets that you'll be able to order and hand out to your employees. And finally, another opportunity really is to sponsor one of our giant Road Safety Week banners. So the banners are 5 by 1 metre, and essentially they give you the opportunity to publicly display your support for Road Safety Week, whether that's something you want to display on site so that drivers coming in and out can see your messaging, or you can potentially do what FORS did last year actually, which was to sponsor a number of banners which they then donated to local schools, helping to helpfully slow down drivers outside homes, shops and schools in local communities. The banners are available now, and you can get in touch with my colleague Alice Cooper. Her email address and contact number is on your screen, but they're also customizable as well, so we've got a range of different messages, as you can see, A through E in terms of the different messages available, and all of the banners feature not just Break's logo and Break's branding, but also your logo as well. So it's a really good opportunity to promote your involvement in Road Safety Week and critically your support for the week itself. The final aspect I wanted to touch on for this year's Road Safety Week is the ways that we can support you to publicise your activities. Obviously, if you've arranged some fantastic activities, it makes complete sense that you'd want to talk about it and help get some kind of credit and some recognition for the work that you're doing. So we can help you to contact local media. As I mentioned, we'll be providing template press releases for all organisations taking part in Road Safety Week. We can also send those press releases out to our own database of media contacts that we have based on wherever you're based. We can provide a supportive quote for your activities as well, hopefully adding some credibility to your work and showing that we recognise what you're doing as being a hugely positive thing. And then finally, social media, which is becoming more and more prominent and a more and more interesting way of directly engaging with people. I would say it's a fantastic chance for you to be tweeting infographics or tweeting your own information, tweeting photos of your own activities. And as long as you're tweeting at Break, then we'll be looking out for those throughout Road Safety Week and doing our best to retweet and support as many of those as possible throughout Road Safety Week. So that probably, I think, wraps up everything we wanted to talk you through today. I just want to say a final thank you to our headline sponsors, Aviva and Bright Angle, as well as the having the support of Think. Also, a huge thank you to Paul and Shirley as well for taking time out of their afternoons, and Abby as well for taking time out to go through their activities from the 2016 Road Safety Week. You can see on the board there's lots more information if you want to know more about anything that we've talked about today. Visit roadsafetyweek.org.uk, register for your free action pack. And please do keep in touch and stay in touch with us. We'd be delighted to support you in any of the activities you've got planned and offer any advice on how you can get involved and make the most of this year's Road Safety Week. So thank you very much again for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you all very soon. Thank you.